Fat loss is no magic, and we all know that by now. So, how are all these people online helping people like yourself lose body fat and get shredded and get lean? And today I'm going to reveal all of that and even things I do myself with even my training to just put it out there so there is no more knowledge behind a paywall or just processes that you don't understand. So, we'll get straight to it. Fat loss is super simple, it's not complex. And the way that all these top guys, top fitness guys, ensure that you get results is simply down to calorie deficit. And you knew that by now. But I'm going to explain how they kind of ensure that you lose body fat. Not only to start with, everybody knows you can just hop in a 500 calorie deficit and lose a pound of body fat. But there gets to a point where that initial deficit will no longer ensure that you lose body fat. And this is going to be a quicker video, but we'll start off with first number one. This is the most simplest basic thing that everybody knows, calorie deficit, right? So what these trainers do, so they get you, and I'm describing my process a little bit too, but this is just sums down to basic body fat loss and how anybody can achieve it and how these trainers ensure that you get it because of the fact that they do weekly check-ins. So the reason why they have you do weekly check-ins and of not only the way you look, but your body weight, of course, is to measure progress for yourself so you can see that you're getting progress. But the magic that they do behind the scenes, or that they know, is they know when to make adjustments. So we're at the screen here. I'm just going to run you down a quick visual representation of what exactly I'm talking about. I think it'll be a lot more easier to show you on the screen here as I'm talking to you rather than trying to explain it with hand signals and do all this shit. But either way, so here we are. So what the top people do is, say for example, in the example we're using before, your goal is to lose 1 pound of body fat a week. So say I'm 175 pounds and a 500 calorie deficit at this weight will lose me about a pound in a week, a pound of body fat. So let's say week one here, as you can see in the visual representation. Let's say after week one, I lose 1 pound as planned. So therefore, my weight would go from 175 to 174 with the same 500 calorie deficit that we initially started with. So say from week two, I stay with that 500 calorie deficit and I don't change it. So I will lose weight still a little bit, but staying with that same 500 calorie deficit, I will eventually hit a weight loss plateau at 173.5 pounds. And this will be my maintenance weight now. So because of the fact that this 500 calorie deficit got us from 175 to, after 2 weeks, 173.5, whatever that calorie, say our maintenance calories was 3,000 before this, and now at 2,500 it gets us from this to this. 2,500 will be your new maintenance calories at 173.5 pounds, and this is all estimated, of course, but this is just an example. So that means this is our fat loss plateau now. So those original 500 calorie deficit no longer works at this stage. So there's no more fat loss. This is our new weight with our new amount of food that we're eating. So like I said, this is our maintenance calories. So that's the problem many people hit. And they take it to extremes, either dropping calories by a shit ton because they don't see the weight moving anymore. And then that ruins their whole cut. But let me show you exactly what top people do and how to actually do it. So go over here. So this is making adjustments. So as you can see on this other slide that we were just in, there's no more fat loss at 173.5 pounds in this example that I'm using. So the weight stays at this. So in order to ensure that we lose more body fat and continue that, that fat loss that we're after, we go ahead and simply just add another 300 calorie deficit. And it's as simple as that. And as a byproduct of adding a bigger deficit based on where we're at this plateau. So give it another week at this new calories. So in the example we're using, say we started with a 500 calorie deficit from 3,000 to 2,500. So now we're at 2,200. So after another week, naturally, with less calories eating, we are going to lose weight. So the new total deficit is 800 calories because we started with 500 and then we added another 300. So then our new weight after a week of this new deficit of 2,300 will get to 172. And it's literally as simple as that, making adjustments week by week, little calorie cut increments until we get to our desired weight loss goal. And we literally just repeat this every week for fat loss until the end. And this is just example here. Don't follow exactly kind of this structure because, you know, it's different for everyone based on the amount of calories you're eating, the amount you're moving. But this is just a basic outline on how these top fitness trainers ensure that you get fat loss. And it comes down to this simple diagram here, guys. Literally this simple diagram of hitting that plateau with the initial deficit and then having to add, it literally as simple as it sounds, another deficit on top of that previous deficit, because that no longer works, obviously. And then that will continue you on the path of fat loss. And it's literally as simple as that. But either way, this was a quick representation. Let's get back to the video. By dropping, 200 to 300 calories every time you hit that kind of mini plateau, and they're kind of keeping up with you in your progress. And that ensures that you get body fat, that you lose body fat. And this is not magic. And I'm revealing that here because it's so simple. And so you can make adjustments for yourself. You can see when to cut calories, when to not cut calories. And it's really as simple as that. Just knowing when to cut calories. And the problem is if you do it wrong, if you do too big of a deficit, you give yourself more diet fatigue, which makes it harder to stick to the diet. It makes it harder to be successful with the diet because if you drop calories so low so quickly, you'll only have a shorter span of fat loss too before your body hits that plateau. And then you're going to have to plateau. You're going to have to drop them even more significant amount like how you started. So the slow and steady approach is always better than the huge fucking dip. Also, that just causes more fatigue and it makes life more hell. The whole point of a cut is it's going to be tough, right? And you're going to reach that stage where you have a lot of diet fatigue, where you feel weak, where you feel like, because your body's eating itself essentially, so it's on shutdown mode. It's trying to use as little as calories as possible because it realizes that, hey, we don't have enough calories to survive, so we're in a dying state right now. So your body's just in total panic mode, which explains the lower energy, the lower drive to do things, the lower sex drive maybe. But so we want to prolong that as long as possible. Our body's going to get to that state no matter what because we're as a byproduct of losing body fat. But our goal is to, and what these top trainers aim for you to do, which to ensure you body fat loss, is we want to save that to the very end. We want to save that to where it's the last 4 weeks of the cut, and these are the last hard 2 to 4 weeks or whatever it is. And dropping calories too low too soon will bring that sooner than we want to make it a sustainable cut that allows us to follow through. But either way, this is going to be a quicker video. I just explained to you guys how exactly your favorite fitness trainers ensure that you lose body fat. And it's not magic, and we all know that by now. It's simply just making the right adjustments at the right time, not too soon, not too late, to ensure that you're on your fat loss goal. So now you know how to do it. So go ahead and implement it. You have an idea now, the basic foundation of the initial deficit you started with is not going to carry you all the way through your cut. So you're going to have to drop it as the weeks go by. And it simply comes down to that. And knowing when to do that based on your weight and progress, it's not magic, right? The scale doesn't go down anymore. Okay. Or you're not on track to hit that 1 pound of fat loss per week. This next week, drop calories a little more and just continue that cycle until you get to your desired weight. And it's literally as simple as that. So if you want help implementing exactly what I explained in this video, or maybe you give it a go and it doesn't work as you anticipate, book a call with me down below. Dude, this is literally my bread and butter. How I'm explaining it to you right now, literally everybody does it this way. But it's not only this that is required, but it's also knowing when to do it and how to do it. And working with someone that knows how to do it will not only give you the information so you'll never need them again, but it just makes life so much more easier, especially when you're unable to commit to it, or for whatever reason the cut's just up and down, you're on and off with it. If you want to nip that in the bud and just never reset your diet again, just book a call below and let's get that sorted for you, man. Because resetting the cut sucks. You start a month in, fails, then you're on that cycle again. But let's nip that cycle in the bud. Either way, this was a quick video, guys. And links in the description. And that's it for today, guys.